Very good job, class. Okay, now we're going to do a brief interview activity. And this activity is called Find Someone Who. Now, imagine that someone asks you right now, excuse me, do you read the newspaper every day? How would you answer this question? Yes, Felipe. Yes, yes. Okay, you can say, yes, I do. Or, yes, Maria? No, I don't. No, I don't. Very good. Now, if Felipe asked Maria, if Maria says, yes, I do, then he would have to write her name on, on the worksheet. Now, he will continue with the next question. Remember, the goal of this activity is to go around the classroom and ask everybody until you find the person who does the activity. Now, in the next question it says, do you cook every day? Now, if Maria says to Felipe, yes, I cook every day, you have to find another person. It cannot be the same person. Go and find somewhere else. Okay? This is the goal of the game.
This is a good icebreaker activity. It helps students get to know one another and promotes small discussions about personal information that should be fairly easy for them to retrieve. As a follow-up to this activity, after the students are seated, you can ask students to introduce the individuals that they met and share what they have learned about each other.
All right, class. Now we're going to practice minimal pairs. Some of you have been asking for the pronunciation classes. So this is going to be a good practice to pronounce some of the difficult sounds in English. Now, each student will have a worksheet with different pictures. Now, listen to the instructions. For instance, student A will have this picture and student B will have this picture. Now, student A will describe the first picture that has that a little dot. Now, student A will say, this is a t-shirt and it cost $13. Now, student B will have to mark the correct picture that student A is talking or describing. Okay? The goal of the activity is to ask as many questions as you can. If you don't understand what the student A has said, ask questions. Ask as many questions as you can. If you heard, for instance, 30 instead of 13, you can ask, can you repeat it again? So it's all about practice.
The goal of this activity is confusion. When communication breaks down between your students, they have to negotiate meaning in order to repair it, so they're actually participating in meaningful conversation. Because this activity builds better fluency for your students, you should consider building it into your lesson plans several times throughout the year.
One, two, three, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Great. Okay, now that you are in groups of 3, we're going to do a speaking and listening activity. This is called the bottle. Find it first. Now, each of you will have a worksheet like this with 15 houses. Now, student A will pick the house, and student B and C will try to guess that house that student A has picked. For example, now, let's say that student A has picked any of these houses. We don't know which one. Student B and C will ask as many questions as they can. For instance, is your house number 15? And the student A will give a yes or no question. You can also say, is your house or does your house have two windows? Or does your house has a chimney? You can ask as many questions as you can. Now, the student who makes the less questions and guesses the house is the one who wins the game.
This is a great speaking activity, even for beginners, because you can create a finite set of questions for them to use by limiting the details that you include in the pictures. And also the answers to these questions are a simple yes and no. So this is a great way to lower students' affective filters and really get them using the language that you're teaching.
All right, class, now that you are in groups of 3 and that you know whether if you are student A, B, or C, we're going to start with this activity. This is called Tell It 3 times. 3, 2, 1. I will give you a topic. For instance, who were the best and the worst teachers you ever had? Student A will have 3 minutes to talk about this question. When I say new speaker, student B will have 3 minutes to talk about the same question. And when I say it again, new speaker, student C will have 3 minutes to talk about this question. Then I will say rotate. Student A will rotate to the left and student C will rotate to the right and student B will be seated. Okay? Now you will have 2 questions, 2 minutes to talk about the same question. Okay?
This is a great fluency building activity because it not only gives your students a chance to talk about the same subject 3 different times, but it also gives them the opportunity to listen to their fellow students talk about the same topic and then reformulate their ideas and language use in between. So it's a great opportunity for students to negotiate meaning among themselves, and it also helps get some of your more reticent students speaking.
All right, class. Now we're going to do a drawing activity. You're going to work in pairs, but I'm gonna need a volunteer to demonstrate this activity. Okay, you're going to draw a sun on the top left of the box. Okay, remember, it's going to be on the top left of the box. Okay. All right. Now you're going to draw a mountain under the sun. All right. On the bottom of the mountain, you're going to draw a house.
Where the house go?
On the bottom of the mountain. On the bottom of the mountain, you're going to draw a house. Okay? Now, next to the house, you will draw a tree. Okay? And finally, under the tree, you will draw 2 children playing with a ball.
3 children?
Yes, under the tree, you will draw Two children.
Two.
Two, yes. Two children playing with a ball. Okay. Thank you so much, Annie. Alright, class. So as you can see here, this is a drawing that I was describing to Anai. So each of you will have a drawing, and without showing it to your partner, you will describe it to him or her. Okay? As you can see, Anai, she was asking for clarification. So you can ask as many questions as you want when you're doing this activity.
This is an excellent way to have students practice using the vocabulary that they're learning, and it's also an excellent way to have them practice asking questions. As the instructor, it's important to make sure that the complexity of the drawing you give them matches their level of speaking ability. And in order for the students to negotiate meaning well, you also need to make sure that they don't see one another's pictures.